Here's Cathie Wood on Elon Musk rewarding patient investors. And for the record, it's not just Elon Musk who rewards patient investors. It's assets in general that reward patient investors.
Because I do think Elon wants to reward those of us who have been patient shareholders with the Robotaxi takeoff. And now that analysts are being forced to look at this new world, they are seeing Tesla's model shift from 16% gross margins in electric vehicles to ultimately with robotaxis, just that opportunity segmented, that's 80 to 90% gross margins.
But it's still a very competitive market, isn't it?
And not when it comes to the things that matter: unit cost, the technology, and ability to scale. On these fronts, Tesla has no competition.
Well, it seems so. There are a lot of companies trying to enter. We do think this is a winner-take-most market because the company to get passengers from point A to point B, the safest, the fastest, and the least expensively, and that last one is where Tesla will ultimately win, will win the lion's share. It's a little bit like Uber and Lyft. There's a network effect, and so we think Tesla will win the lion's share. So if we're right, then globally, the revenue generation from autonomous taxis is going to scale globally, including China, is going to scale to north of 10 trillion within the next 5 to 10 years.
So let's work back from this. In excess of $10 trillion of revenue up for grabs. A winner takes most market, as in a dominant player will capture the majority of that $10 trillion. She believes, ARC's research indicates that Tesla will take the lion's share of that $10 trillion, and no ambiguity about it. We're fast approaching a massive inflection point. But until we get there, and Tesla begins scaling rapidly, if you take a cursory glance at autonomy, you might be like the host, well, isn't it really competitive? I've heard of 600,000 companies doing robotaxi rides or planning on it soon. If you don't dig deep and understand that Tesla has massive advantages on the cost for hardware, they're the only company with a generalized solution, meaning the vehicles know how to drive, full stop, period, end of conversation. Not they've been trained to operate in this particular region. They're not perfect everywhere yet, but the underlying technology, the software, FSD, is unique versus everyone else attempting to solve autonomy. We've developed very brittle software that's dependent upon a clusterfuck of sensors, pre-mapping in HD, a nice safe little geofence. We've seen examples of this with the Waymo network having crazy, catastrophic breakdowns, power goes out, vehicles just stop in the middle of the road. You're not going to see that with Tesla vehicles because they know how to drive. Shit's hitting the fan, what do? Get out of the fucking way. As opposed to a Waymo, power's out, what do? Oh, I'm retarded, I don't know what to do. Never encountered this situation, haven't been pre-trained, therefore I'm just going to block traffic in emergency vehicles. And Tesla's third massive advantage is scale. An existing fleet of millions of vehicles, cool stroke, bro, who cares? That's not even the point. Although any of these vehicles, in theory, in the future could be operating as a robotaxi, part-time or full-time, with a software update. It's Tesla's ability to manufacture hundreds of thousands, millions of vehicles per year. Tesla has a dominant advantage on all three things that matter. Not one, not two, all of them. So when Cathie Wood talks about winner takes most market, Tesla taking the lion's share of the profits, this is why. But back to the earlier point. If you don't dig deep enough to understand this, the three pillars, Tesla's domination on all of them, you see Waymo, Waymo's growing, they're increasing the number of rides. Waymo's ahead of Tesla by miles. How will Tesla ever catch up? Waymo's got a lead. But you dig deep and go, oh, wait, Waymo's spending how much to put a vehicle on roads? Wait, how much? Oh, they're cooked. And how are they actually doing the rides? What's the technology require? Oh, and Tesla's just doing vision only and has a general solution. Oh, they're cooked. And how does Waymo get vehicles on roads? Oh, they pay another company to manufacture them and they fit them out with sensors. And in this year, for the full year, they're planning on adding maybe a few thousand more vehicles to their fleet in the whole fucking year versus Tesla producing that many vehicles in the blink of an eye. Oh, they're really cooked.
And we're talking about only $1 billion right now. And again, lion's share will go to a few companies. The platform providers will get most of the profits. Tesla's a platform provider. Waymo is as well. But Tesla, because it's vertically integrated from a manufacturing point of view, we believe that by 2030, its costs will be 50% lower than Waymo's costs. given what we know now. And so it will be able to pass those lower costs on and provide a less expensive ride.
Assume these estimates are close. If this is the only thing you know, and assume you do know, in 2030, Tesla will, for half the cost, be able to provide an identical service, identical wait times, identical safety, identical service area, everything identical. Just pretend everything is identical, but Tesla can offer it for half the cost of Waymo. Hello? This only ends one way. Imagine there was an energy provider, a home broadband provider, able to offer an identical service for half the cost of anyone else in the marketplace. With these assumptions, you don't even need to be a midwit to see how this one ends. Now, you can argue, oh, well, somehow Waymo will magically catch up to Tesla's scale and cost and replicate their general solution to autonomy. Doing so may be one question, are you retarded? Test. The answer is yes. But if it is correct that Tesla's going to have a meaningful cost advantage to offer a service to consumers, it doesn't even have to be 50%. If they have a 20 or 30% cost advantage, they will be able to price their service at a cost per mile that a company like Waymo literally cannot financially sustainably compete with. Waymo might be operating a service with like a 25, 30% gross margin. Then Tesla comes along, offers a cost per mile at 50% lower. Waymo tries to match them on cost per mile, and now they're negative 20% margin. So why are they even in business? Yet today still, the general public, those who take a quick glance at this rather than really digging deep, do not see the writing on the wall. You got to feel a bit for Waymo. Took some risk, paved the way, got a service operating commercially, still losing a lot of money doing so, but got it working in very small pockets in the United States. While this was happening, Tesla's busy covering their consumer vehicles in cameras, collecting data for the better part of a decade, building the AI data training flywheel, their AI team, spooling up, working on general autonomy, reaching massive scale, discovering that having extra sensors like radar confuses and makes the software worse, delete radar, vision only, pure vision, keep scaling up, refining a general solution, realize you got a better approach doing this than that, rebuild version 12, end-to-end, vision only, video of great human drivers, holy shit, this is incredible, people don't get it, keep scaling up, work in secret on your Cybercab design, develop the production systems, by the way, Cybercab entering production in April, a couple of days from now. Waymo continues to offer a service while losing quite a bit of money doing so, don't have massive scale, therefore don't have sufficient data to train a vision-only model, therefore they have no choice, their hands are tied. Realize that unless you're really stupid now that Tesla's going to fucking absolutely cook you, they've sold vision, you're fucked. You're never going to have a chance of competing with Tesla and doing so in a financially sustainable manner. What do? Speaking of what do, you just pretend everything's fine, I guess. In totally unrelated matters, I just saw a clip with an interview of Waymo co-CEO. This is the technical one, not the retard who's just out there to claim that Tesla vehicles can't drive at night, discussing some of the potential advantages of Waymo's sensor clusterfuck. I guess I haven't seen the clip, but I have seen the caption, so let's see.
What are lidars versus radars better at in a self-driving company?
Lidar.
Are they complementary?
They're very complementary.
Yeah.
It's all blasting.
Echolocation.
Effectively, like blasting, photons out there, and then they bounce off of something. They come back. You measure what comes back. The frequencies are very different.
Yes.
So laser gives you its very, very high resolution. So you can think of it as like a laser beam that goes out, spins around.
Yeah.
It shoots out millions of these laser pulses per second, and then each one comes back, and you can you're kind of sampling the 3D structure of the world with very high resolution.
So LiDAR for very fine grain mapping.
That's right.
Yeah.
Radar has much lower resolution, but because of the physics of it, it degrades much better in adverse weather conditions. So fog, snow, heavy rain.
So it's not going to be occluded by particles between it and the target.
So imagine driving in super dense fog.
Yes.
We're close to San Francisco, so probably don't have to think that hard. It can be really hard to see. So cameras degrade.
Yes.
Laser, depending on kind of the size of the particulates, can degrade better or worse than camera. Radar is not well affected. So you can imagine driving on a freeway, then radar will give you really good returns for cars that are absolutely invisible in the camera space.
Oh, that's interesting. So does that mean there are some environments where you'll be relying significantly more on radar but the performance is good enough.
Well, so it's
All right, so in fairness, like the points are true, especially about fog and radar. In very heavy fog, becomes extremely difficult, borderline dangerous, or straight up dangerous for humans to drive, at least at high velocities. So you know what we do? We pull over unless we're completely fucking retarded and shouldn't have a license in the first place. Earlier, we heard about depth perception, high resolution, low resolution. Did you know that if your brain's big enough, not even that big, for example, you're a human, you don't actually need radar or LiDAR to do depth perception. Otherwise, we'd walk into things, crash our cars constantly. Because our software, with just 2 cameras, can figure out how far away objects are, aka depth perception. So if you need all of these sensors to do that job, it's a skill issue, it's a software issue, it's a your brain is too small issue. Now back to the point about fog and radar and blah, blah, blah. There will be some situations, extreme weather conditions, when it's absolutely bucketing down rain. Perhaps if you're driving through a literal hurricane would be another example, where a vision-only system may need to pull over and wait. If Waymo's only hope is having a service that will be able to function on the 0.00001% of trips in which a vision-only system might need to stop to operate, to go, you know what, not safe, got to pull over for 5 minutes, they're cooked. What's interesting, I love paying attention to body language. Just watch the shrug of the shoulders here when the question is asked. We're going to go back. See the shrug of the shoulders here? Let's listen again to what was asked that induced that movement.
Are some environments where you'll be relying significantly more on radar, but the performance is good enough.
Well, so it's a combination of the sensors, right? So we rely on, each one is noisy, right?
So to translate, when asked, will there be situations where you're primarily relying on radar, for example, to see? No. We're going to be relying primarily on vision, but we also have radar and LiDAR. Radar alone, definitely not sufficient for driving, nor LiDAR alone. But vision is, at least if you have a big enough brain, aka your software is capable enough.
How the noise characteristics show up in different environments is different, but it is, it's not like we switch from one to another. It's not like we estimate what's happening with the world through cameras and through radars and through LiDAR, and then we compare. No, they're like, there's an encoder for camera, there's an encoder for LiDAR, there's an encoder, and they all go into the the system that gives you jointly the best view of what's happening in the world. So if you're, if it's a nice, bright, sunny day, cameras are very valuable. If it's pitch dark, or you have like sun in your face, or you're blinded by the headlights from oncoming car, then camera will degrade. Like there's still some noisy signal, but it will degrade. And LiDAR is completely unaffected.
There's a recurring theme in today's video. These comments from the Waymo co-CEO are valid. There's a little bit of sense of confusion. He himself was admitting there's noise on each of the sensors. So again, that's a bit of a problem. Like, which sensor do you pay attention to if one's saying this and one's saying that? That's why Tesla got rid of their radars. Pure vision now. The recurring theme is that if you take a quick look, just a cursory glance, you hear comments like this: oh wow, yeah, radar and LiDAR means you can see a little bit better in this very rare, unusual, uncommon situation where humans might struggle a little bit. Therefore, obviously, having them means you can have a much better product, better technology. Therefore, why doesn't Tesla have radar and LiDAR? Waymo's obviously ahead. They've obviously got superior technology, and their vehicles will obviously be able to drive more capably and safer in all conditions. Therefore, Waymo's going to win. I think these kind of comments, a traditional investor or a money manager, a finance media pundit, watches a little clip like this from the Waymo co-CEO, the technical co-CEO, and think, oh shit, yeah, good point. More sensors is better. Waymo's going to win. Because they haven't dug beneath the surface, thought about the implications, the sense of confusion, the disagreeing opinions, therefore which one do you rely on? Tesla told us, investors, a couple of years ago, that radar, because occasionally it disagreed with vision, and then the vehicle's like, well, which do I trust, was making the software less safe. Tesla, with an over-the-air update, disabled radar in existing vehicles. I repeat, Tesla had been manufacturing vehicles that did include radar. And a few years ago, they realized this was making their software less safe. They disabled the radar in existing vehicles and stopped making vehicles with radar in them moving forward. But if you don't dig this deep, oh yeah, radar's obviously something you should have as well as LiDAR. Why doesn't Tesla do that? Waymo's going to win. So, bringing things full circle to Cathie Wood's earlier comments, I personally agree that Tesla will take the lion's share of the profits here. All the reasons I've previously discussed, not just in this video, but the last nearly 2,500 videos in a row. And as a result of this, since most investors, not including a lot of Tesla retail investors, but just the general public, don't believe this, don't see this as inevitable because they haven't dug beneath the surface. Much like the interviewer with Cathie Wood, well, isn't there a lot of competition? They don't get this. The market's not fully appreciating this, and I tend to agree that Tesla Robotaxis will most certainly reward patient investors. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.